Have the second NexTorch model that was sent in. This is the TA15 version 2. Main reason I wanted to look at this particular one was because it takes 3 different types of batteries: 14500, 16340s and the AA, and of course the CR123A non-rechargeables. There's your user manual, and we have a couple of spare O-rings with this and a Type A to Type C charging cable. Here's the wrist strap, which is sort of a flat style one with the branding on it. And here's the 14500 lithium battery, and that has your Type C charging port at the top. You might notice capacities have been increasing on these cells recently. I did try a few other 14500 cells that are a bit taller, and they also fit into the torch without a problem. It's very much a mini version of the TA30C Max that I looked at. Almost. There's a couple of differences. It doesn't have the U-shape on the base or tail cap. I do like the finishing on these NexTorch models because they do have a sort of nice tactile feel in the hand. This one has a stainless steel bezel with those nano ceramic breakers. They've gone for a smooth reflector with this one, so that's why we get a bit more range out of it. There's quite a bit of pressure on that 2-stage switch. The first level, not so much, but when you really have to push down to get to the strobe, and we've got that magnetic rotary ring as well. Unscrew the tail cap or base cap, you can see that it does help to hold the clip in position. It sort of screws over the top of it. Quite a thick O-ring with the square cut threads. There's a spring mechanism behind that contact point. That's why we can accept the different batteries in there. And it starts off quite shallow because obviously you need to fit a 16340. Diameter is quite a bit thinner on the AA size batteries. The spring pressure does hold it in place, so there's no rattling with the 14500 or AA batteries, but there is a little bit of a rattle with the 16340. It's only minor, it's not really annoying, it's just because the spring pressure is not quite as much on the shorter cells. But I like the fact that you don't have to use an adapter or anything else like that to use these different batteries. You can just drop them into place. Depending on the batteries that you already have, that could be quite an advantage really, to be able to use multiple different ones. We've got the same simple user interface. You've the half press for momentary, full press for strobe, and that works in all of the different modes. Simply rotate the magnetic control ring around to pick the 3 levels, or to go into the strobe mode for a continuous strobe. Don't think anybody's going to complain much about the user interface. I like the simplicity on these NexTorch models. You've got your instant access to momentary and strobe at every single setting. You'll have to unscrew it slightly if you want to lock it out because it doesn't have a lock position on that ring. Pretty cool LED on this as expected. 0.5 amp charging speed on the battery, and it only works with an A to C cable, not a C to C, unfortunately. Would have been handy to have had this C to C charging with this, but there you go, I thought I'd let you know on that one. Unfortunately, they don't give the power levels for the lower settings with nickel metal hydride, but it does have one of them. It's 170 lumens at the top level. That's if you're using the 1.5 volt battery. Just comparing it size-wise to the TH10R, which is a relatively compact 18650, and you can see there really isn't much difference between the two of them. It's slightly shorter. TH10R has a mixed beam pattern on that, so you can see a bit of spread there. Shed's about 90 feet away, so we can still hit that with the lower power level on this with the 14500. At the medium level, we can see the beam spread out quite nicely, gives a decent enough spill, but it is more focused compared to the jet beam. And there's your 700 lumen, the top power level. Perfectly okay beam pattern on this torch. It has a bit more range than your typical 14500. For me anyway, it's not always about lumens with these torches. 700 is perfectly fine for typical activities that you're going to be using it for. There is a bit of a tint shift on this, and the bezel does impact the beam pattern. Also notice a bit of PWM on the medium power level. I've run a few more beam shots, have a look through those, and I'll give you a quick summary at the end. I do like the build and finishing on the NexTorch, though it is a bit on the pricey side. I like the rotary ring and the 2-stage switch, but again, I do wish there was a lock position for that. You do get a basic bundle again. I would have liked to have seen a holster. If you're someone who uses lots of different types of batteries, then it certainly could be of interest to you. I should be looking at another torch shortly, so do stick around for that. And as usual, thanks for watching.